Francisco. So in about 2005, Long recalled he received orders to move every internet backbone circuit I had in Northern California through the San Francisco AT&T building, identified by the internet as one of the 8 NSA spy hubs. So around 2005, he's like, everyone's going. So apparently the head honcho said everyone's going to now use this place to put through all of their. They're going to move every internet backbone circuit through to Northern California with the San Francisco-based address of these NSA spy hubs. So that's pretty much where he wanted to do, and apparently felt suspicious of these changes because they were unusual and seemingly unnecessary, but they were necessary to the government and the head honchos over at AT&T. He said they were unusual, unnecessary, and he thought he says, we thought we were routing circuits so that they could grab all the data. He said, we thought it was the government listening. He retired from his job with AT&T in 2014. A third former AT&T employee reviewed the Intercept's research and said he believes to accurately identified all 8 of the facilities. The site data certainly seems correct, Thomas Saunders, who has worked as a data networking consultant for AT&T in New York City between 1995 and 2004. These nodes are not going to move. So 10 South Canal is the one in New York. That's one of the central hubs there that have been confirmed by multiple AT&T former staffers and employees, some of whom are actually here willing to go on record. So that's a pretty big deal. And that's something that you do not see every day, especially in this actual field here, of people who are willing to go on record and testify to the existence of these majorly problematic 8 NSA spy hubs, also owned and operated by AT&T, that are taking out all this data here going on. So a third former AT&T employee has confirmed it. So that does seem to be a pretty big deal. So, and one of the things here about the internet is an estimated 99% of the world's intercontinental internet traffic is transported through hundreds of giant fiber optic cables hidden beneath the world's oceans. A large portion of the data in communications that pass through the cables is routed at one point through the U.S., partly because of the country's location, situated between Europe, the Middle East, and Asia, and partly because of the preeminence of American internet companies, which provide service to people globally. The NSA calls this predicament a home field advantage, a kind of geographic good fortune. A target's phone call, email, or chat will take the cheapest path, not the physically most direct path. What agency document explains your target's communication could be easily flowing into and out of the U.S. So whoever you want to target, whoever you want to spy on, whether it be without or with a warrant, you're most likely going to have the traffic routed at some point throughout the U.S., which is a pretty huge deal. So once internet traffic arrives on U.S. soil, it's processed by American companies, and that is why, for the NSA, AT&T is so indispensable. The company claims it has one of the world's most powerful networks, the largest of its kind in the U.S. AT&T routinely handles masses of emails, phone calls, and internet chats. As of March 2018, 197 petabytes of the data, equivalent to more than 49 trillion pages of text, or 60 billion average-sized MP3 files traveling across networks every business day. So this is every day. So they travel across AT&T networks. So they get a ton of data internationally. It's a big deal. The NSA documents came from the trove provided to The Intercept by the whistleblower, Edward Snowden, described AT&T story as having aggressively involved in aiding the surveillance programs. One example of this appears to have taken place at the 8 facilities under a classified initiative known as Seguro, which was an NSA surveillance operation that monitors internet data inside these AT&T facilities. As part of Seguro, AT&T developed a strategy to help the NSA electronically eavesdrop on internet data from peering circuits at the 8 data sites, which is to connect the common backbone major data routes carrying internet traffic. And here's the thing. Apparently, according to other reports, this is not the only situation. This is not the only building in New York that could be up to some no good activities here. And this is some speculation. We don't know this for sure, but there is some whisperings that this building could be, the one specifically in New York, could be a spy hub because of the increased security and police presence around the building. That is the one in the New York City spy hub, the NSA SNRC center that we located, the intercept located there. And here's RT's Trinity Chavez to explain further about why this increased NYPD police presence could be mean something is up to no good.
The heavy police presence around this 10th Avenue facility has garnered some serious speculation, especially because the controversial design bears a striking resemblance to that of another windowless skyscraper, also here in New York City. The address, 33 Thomas Street in Lower Manhattan. As The Intercept reported in 2016, this facility is a major hub for routing international phone calls and appears to contain a secure NSA surveillance room, codenamed Titan Point, that has been used to tap into faxes and phone calls. According to the report, NSA and AT&T documents indicate that the 10th Avenue building serves as the NSA's internet equivalent of 33 Thomas Street, while the NSA's surveillance at the 33 Thomas Street location mainly targets phone calls that pass through the building's international switching points. The 10th Avenue location appears to primarily collect emails, online chats, and data from internet browsing sessions. Now, the telecommunications.
So yeah, just to be clear, the 10th Avenue one is the Hell's Kitchen one, and then the Thomaston Street one is the one that's supposed to be focused more on phone calls. And yeah, so it even shows that like this spying operation could be way bigger than just those 8 peering centers. And there also could be other ones focused more on phone calls. Faxes were mentioned as well. So very interesting stuff here.
Giant's close relationship with AT&T was first exposed back in 2015 by the New York Times, thanks to documents that were leaked by whistleblower Edward Snowden. Now, while the NSA has yet to confirm or deny these allegations, AT&T has confirmed to Intercept that they are required by law to provide authorities with information to a certain extent. Reporting in New York, Trinity Chavez, RT.
Yes, that's an RT report about the situation, and I thought it was going to be very interesting for you to kind of get another look at what is going on here. And I mean, it's really weird. Like, all these people, like, they're so secluded, so secretive. It's like, oh. Like, yeah, so pretty much we're getting really the full idea of what is going on here. It's really some very disturbing stuff, and obviously some great reporting by the internet. We pretty much had no role in producing this reporting whatsoever. And we're now getting more and more information that's coming in about what this AT&T and NSA conjunction is doing. So I mean, it wouldn't be too much of a stretch really to say, why don't we consider maybe switching companies if you are in an AT&T and if you really care about your privacy rights. So it's because this is an incredible concern that is very sketchy, just to say the least. And I also thought it would be interesting for you to kind of get a little bit of an insider's take from someone who is very much former NSA technical director William Benny about how lawful this whole situation actually is. Because I mean, we do know the law has some very wide varieties on this situation. Very wide leeway for these NSA spying activities that have been written in without many people noticing. So people can point to things like some certain sections of law in the Patriot Act and other things like that to say that this is legal. So here's William Benny's take on that.
The agency can neither confirm nor deny its role in alleged classified intelligence activities.
What AT&T calls peering sites, the eight peering sites inside the United States that AT&T has. Those are peering sites are the sites where they have multi-networks come together and they put together border gate protocols between one another so they can transfer data between each network. And the real issue is the other 80-some tapping points that they didn't talk about. And those are the ones that are actually targeting the United States citizens. And, that's the violation of the constitutional rights of every citizen in the United States. And they've been doing that since 2001. And they aren't even addressing that. The European law, for example, the EU clearly says that the data that any third party holds, it belongs to the person involved. And if they want to share that with anybody, they have to get the permission of that person. So they've been violating European law. So they need a class action lawsuit in Europe against AT&T and any of the companies. It's easier to sue them and more pertinent to do it that way rather than, try to sue the U.S. government, because they'll drag it out in international court for years.
Yeah, so that's the take on that from William Binney. And I think it's really clear, like, this entire situation is a gross violation of constitutional rights of Americans here, because it is obviously a direct violation of the Fourth Amendment. And, like, it's so dystopian that this is the world that we have to live in. And it's something where I think broadly we're going to have to take a much bigger look into in the future. So, yeah. As we now find out from The Intercept, more reporting on this has had NSA diagrams reveal that it collects data from AT&T's, quote, access links and peering partners. It is sent to a centralized processing facility codenamed Pinecone, which is in New Jersey, where AT&T data is processed and sent back to the NSA. At the Maryland compound that the NSA has, which is related to the Pinecone facility, there's a so in the Pinecone facility, pretty much, there's a secure space in which the NSA, in which there is NSA both. There is both NSA controlled and AT&T controlled equipment, so they kind of work in conjunction, literally in the same building. Internet traffic passes through the AT&T distribution box and into two NSA systems, and then that sends it to Fort Meade, Maryland. In the Maryland compound, the communications collected from AT&T's networks are integrated into two powerful systems called Mainway and Marina. Mainway is an NSA database to store and analyze records of phone communications, including cell phone, landline, and internet-based voice over IP calls. Marina is an NSA database used to store and analyze internet metadata, including records and email correspondence. So it's pretty much very clear that they have the eyes of the government are on everything here. And as we are just about out of time for this week, I think is very, very pertinent to really look in the situation and say, how can we fight back against this? And as we know, the majority of Americans are uncomfortable with the situation. I think they should be. I personally am comfortable with the government spying on us because as we can see from this reporting, they have every form of communication that we use all stored, especially for AT&T customers, which I am, unfortunately. They have every single form of communication possible down to fax in some kind of database, in some kind of massive building somewhere. It's a very disconcerting situation. So the communications are obtained from AT&T and are also made accessible through a tool named X-Keyscore, where NSA employees use to NSA employees use to search through the web of contents of emails, instant messenger chats, web browsing histories, and webcam photos. So even webcam photos, information about downloads from online services and Skype sessions. So, it's a Google-like system. The NSA uses X-Keyscore to search through the full written contents of internet communications, such as the bodies of emails. So it's just the same kind of situation that they have all your data there, and they pretty much they even have a Google tool to Google through it faster. And if they want to say you're doing something they don't like, they can very, very easily look into your situation, your data, who you've been talking to, what you've been looking up, what you've been planning, probably. They can very easily and very quickly get a very detailed picture about who you are. And it all comes down to the big question: if you feel comfortable with this, okay. If you don't, what are you going to do about it? And that's where I kind of, as we wrap this up, I do want to kind of get into now, because I think it just comes to the one thing what you have to do is how are you going to change this? It's politicians, tough, strong politicians who are actually going to be able to enforce a strict code for once, finally, on the government here. I think it's going to be very important here.